greatest common factor. The example is 5x to the power 3 minus 2x. How do we solve this? First, we find the greatest common factor in this equation, which is x, and we divide x by both terms. So here the x will cancel, and then here x will cancel, but it's to the power of 3. So we will just subtract 1x. So we'll bring the greatest common factor all the way here. So it will become 5x to the power of 2 minus 2. This will be minus x minus 7x to the power of 4. First, we find the greatest common factor, which is x and negative 1. And we bring the x out, as you can see here. And then this become minus 1, and then we subtract 1 here because it's 1x, it will equal to 3. And even if we redid this, so distribute the x here to become minus x minus 7x to the power of 4. So this, if you distribute the x here, it will need to be equal to this. Third example is xy minus x to the power of 3y equals xy. First we find the greatest common factor, which is x and y, because both of them have x and both of them have y. We bring the xy outside so we can distribute it. We divide this by xy, divide this by xy, so it cancel, so we come to 1, and then the y will cancel, but to become x to the power 3 out of over x. Here there's an invisible 1. As we learned, we need to subtract this to equal to x to the power of 2, and we put it over here. Hi, I'm Sidras, and today I'll be explaining multi-step factoring. So we have this equation, minus 5x to the power of 3 plus 45x to the power of 2 minus 90x. So in multi-step factoring, we find the common factor between all three terms here. So they all have x, and they all can be divided by 5. So we can divide this by 5, and we can divide this by 5, and we can divide this by 5. So we bring the common factor out, which is minus 5x, and we're left with x squared minus 9x plus 18. This looks familiar. It's factoring trinomials. Here a equals to 1, b equals to minus 9, and c equals to 18. As we said, when factoring trinomials, we multiply a times c, which here is 1 and 18. 1 times any number is the number it's multiplied with. So 1 times 18 is 18. We bring this 18 over here, and we find two numbers. 1 multiplied equals to 18, and the same numbers, 1 added equals to negative 9. So when negatives are, in addition, both numbers have to be negative to give us the answer of negative, or the biggest number needs to be negative to give us the answer that will be negative. But in multiplication, if two numbers are negative, it will give us positive. So negative times negative equals positive. So the two numbers are minus 6 times minus 3. So when 1 multiplied equals 18. And when added, minus 6 plus minus 3, it will give us minus 9. We put the numbers, as we said, in parentheses. X minus 6, x minus 3. Good. The only difference here is that we bring the common factor that we had outside of the parentheses. And the second example of multi-step factoring will be 2x squared plus 8x minus 10. We find the common factor, which is 2 here. We're left with x squared plus 4x minus 5. because we just divide 2 from each one of them. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and divide by 2. Okay? This is trinomial factoring, okay? So, this is trinomial. We factor it. We define A, which is 1, B, which is 4, C, which is minus 5. Over here, and then we learned over here that we need to multiply A times C, which is 1 times minus 5, which equal to minus 5. We bring the minus 5 over here, and then we bring B. We do the same thing as trinomial factoring. We bring B over here. Find two numbers that when multiplied equals negative 5 and when added equals 4. Two numbers are 5 and negative 1. Because 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 and 5 plus 1 is 4. We write them in parentheses, x plus 5 and x minus 1, each of them in different parentheses. And then we bring the common factor over here in the beginning. 3x squared minus 12x minus 15. Find the common factor between all three of these, which is 3. We write it in the beginning. And then because we divided by 3 in each term, we're left with x squared minus 4x minus 5. Define A and B and C. A equals 1, B equals negative 4, C equals negative 5, sorry. And now we multiply A times C. A here equals 1, C equals negative 5, which will equal to negative 5. We bring the negative 5 over here. And then now we need to find two numbers when multiplied equals negative 5, when added equals negative 4. The two numbers are negative 5 and 1. Because negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. So write these numbers over here in the parentheses with x, because x is the variable of this equation. And then we bring this common factor in the beginning. So the answer is 3, and then in parentheses, x minus 5, and close parentheses, open another parentheses, x plus 1. Thank you. Hi, and I'll be explaining factoring trinomials when a is equal to 1. We need to use this formula to factor trinomials when a is equal to 1. We have x squared plus 7x plus 12. First we need to find what does a equal, because a needs to start here, but there isn't any number, so there is an invisible 1 over here. So a equals to 1, b is equals to 7, and c is equal to 12. A times c, which is 1 times 12, is equals to 12. And then we bring this 12 over here, and the b over here. We find two numbers when multiplied equals 12 and when added equals 7. Two numbers are 4 and 3. So we bring the 4 here because with x plus 4 in parentheses, because our variable is x. And we bring the 3 here, x plus 3 in parentheses, because our variable is x. That's the first example. The second example of factoring trinomials when a is equal to 1 is x squared minus 5x plus 6. We need to find what equals a, what equals b, what equals c. A equals to 1, b equals negative 5, c equals 6. Multiply a times c, which is 1 times 6, equal to 6, because any number times 1 is the same number. We bring this 6 here, and then which two numbers when multiplied equals 2, because we bring this b over here. Which two numbers when multiplied equals 6, and when added, and the same numbers need to be when added equals negative 5. So it's negative 2 and negative 3. We bring this to negative 2 here, negative 3 here. We distribute the x, one x here, the other x here. That's the second example. And the third example is x squared plus 10x plus 21. Well, in all of these cases in factoring trinomial, they don't have a common factor. If they had, it would be multi-step factoring. To do this, find A equals 1, B equals 10, 21, C equals 21. A times C is 21, so A times 21 equals 21, because A number times 1 equals itself, which two numbers when added equals 21, when multiplied equals 21, when added equals 10, sorry. Two numbers are 7 and 3, bring the 7 here and the 3 here.